you for joining us today on this special segment on the Constitution on America's 3 News. I'm Ashley Singh.
And I'm Sarah Jaber. Today is May 22nd, 1792. This just in, Christian with the weather, along with a protester who's been denied their freedom of speech from last year.
Thank you, Sarah. Today is 76 degrees and partly cloudy with a chance of showers. There's a 30% chance of precipitation and a couple of thunderstorms this weekend, and it will mostly likely be all in the 70s. That's all for the forecast. Back to you, Ashley.
Thank you, Christian. Can you tell us what's going on behind you there?
Oh yes, there does seem to be a protest every morning. She seems to have been denied her right about First Amendment, and here she comes now.
I was walking along the streets of New York, preaching the Bible, and I was stopped by a congressman. Well, that just shows you how life was when we didn't have these rights. Luckily now, we have something in place as of December of 1791, and we are able to live free in our home, America. Next, we will have a segment with a graduate from Dickinson College from Pennsylvania, which Sarah will be interviewing.
Thank you, Ashley. So here with us today is Miss Karina Kumar, a professor from Dickinson College. Good afternoon, Karina.
Good afternoon, Sarah.
So I'm assuming you know a lot about the Bill of Rights, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit of information about the Bill of Rights, like why it was created, and was it created because the government wanted to, or was it because the people were too afraid that the government would have too much power?
The Bill of Rights was created to ensure ratification of the United States Constitution to give rights and limit the government from having too much power over the actual people in the United States. Why was it actually created? When the Federalists created the Constitution, the Anti-Federalists were worried because they believed that the federal government would intrude upon their God-given rights. And so the Bill of Rights was added upon the Constitution to ensure these rights to every citizen and the Anti-Federalists who didn't really want the Constitution to be created.
So the Anti-Federalists demanded a Bill of Rights to ensure their protection, right?
Why, yes, the U.S. Bill of Rights was actually influenced by George Mason's 1776 Virginia Declaration of Rights, the 1689 English Bill of Rights, and the works of enlightenment dealing with natural rights.
So basically what you're saying is that the Bill of Rights was derived from past documents?
Yes, it would be. The actual person who proposed the Bill of Rights was James Madison. He's the actual man who actually proposed it during a bunch of conventions where a few states showed up.
That's quite fascinating, actually. So, James Madison, I'm glad you cleared that up, actually, because I thought it was another person. Thank you so much once again for enlightening us on the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
So what do you think of that, Ashley?
I think it's fantastic news. Next, we'll have Erin with sports.
This is Erin reporting live where another gun duel just occurred. Vice President Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton were dueling and Hamilton was shot in the abdomen. Recently, Hamilton allegedly insulted Burr at a party, which led to the challenge to duel. The two had been feuding since the Senate race of 1791 when Burr had upset Hamilton's father-in-law. Hamilton was rushed to Manhattan where he is being treated for his injuries. Burr, who is now facing criminal charges in New York and New Jersey, has fled the scene and his whereabouts are unknown. As you know, the Second Amendment of the Constitution protects the right of an individual to keep and bear arms. Dueling, which remains popular in England, has become more common in the colonies since the passage of the Second Amendment. Ironically, the bill has initiated the guarantee that Americans had the right to take up arms and protect themselves from the tax-hungry English and from armies to protect themselves. Prominent figures have spoken out against dueling. Benjamin Franklin had said that dueling is a murderous practice, and even George Washington was opposed to the sport. General Washington encouraged and congratulated his soldiers that walk away from a duel. Americans are questioning the right to own and bear arms if dueling is going to continue to lead to unnecessary injuries and death. Back to you, Ashley and Sarah.
Thank you for that, Erin. And now we'll proceed to Karina's political segment on today's show. Karina.
Welcome to the political segment of today's newscast. Earlier in the show, Sarah asked me who was the father of our Constitution. As you must have heard me, I said it was James Madison. But why exactly? First, Madison and many other leaders, such as Washington and Franklin, were concerned about not being able to pay back the money that was borrowed during the war. Madison had convinced George Washington to attend a convention of 1787 in which he convinced George Washington to attend. As Madison waited along for other states' delegates to arrive, he started outlining something that was somewhere along the lines of the Virginia Plan. This plan was more of an outline for the future constitution of our country. The fact that it was created during this convention shows that this is why Madison is known to be one of the founding fathers of our Constitution and Bill of Rights. Thank you, and now back to Ashley.
Thank you for that informative report, Karina. Coming up, we'll have Allison with our entertainment segment. She'll be discussing the advantages of our First Amendment. Allison. Good afternoon. I'm here to discuss our First Amendment. As Americans, our First Amendment enables us to be protected from our freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. As Americans now, we can freely state our opinion, practice our own religion, and protest without being scolded. Thanks for that, Allison. And just to add to that, the Eighth Amendment protects citizens from cruel and unusual punishment. Therefore, if any punishment is given regarding things such as religion, speech, petition, assembly, or press, there is an amendment that protects citizens from unfair punishment.
Exactly right, Ashley. There is an amendment that guarantees Americans a trial by jury, and an amendment that protects citizens from swift and fair trial.
Well, that concludes all we have time for today.
Thank you for joining us.
This is World 3 News.
I'm Sarah Jaber.
And I'm Ashley Singh.
Good night.